Okay, getting ready to put the rocker arm back together. This guy goes in the rear. It's got the bolt to lock the rocker arm in place. It's redone. There's two styles. It's interesting that the holes are not drilled uniformly at all in these things, but I guess there's enough play in the rocker or the push rod that it doesn't matter that much. Okay, the rocker shaft is together. This was really a mess putting this pin in. This is a new rocker arm shaft from Moss, and I had new pins from Moss, and they were super tight, but the pins went in this old rocker shaft easily, or at least you could push them in halfway by hand. So I actually ended up, after trying a lot of stuff, I finally just drilled this hole out through the shaft, slightly larger, to get the pins in, and they're still pretty hard to get in. These pedestals were difficult to slide on as well. I had to tap them on with a tube, and had to tap harder than I really wanted to, but it seemed like they went on okay. I mean, it's difficult to line up this alignment bolt or screw when they're hard to turn on the shaft, but I finally got that lined up, and then that sets the alignment for all the rest of them together with the studs in the head. So the next step will be to put this on the head. Now here's my engine update. I haven't really taken any videos, so I've been mad. I had to take the head back off. I put the rocker arm on, and I used some grade 5 lock washers that I had. And as I was tightening it down, I got a little too tight. I didn't get a push rod in the right place, so I loosened it back up. And I noticed a little bit too late that the lock washer was shaving off metal off of the pedestal here, and I was afraid it fell down the push rod tube. So I took the head off, got all the push rod tubes out here, or lifters out, and I'm draining them, and I'm going to clean them out real well, make sure there's no metal scraps in there. Big step backwards. Got a new head gasket. Probably be in tomorrow if I'm lucky, and I can put it back together. In the meanwhile, I worked on the timing and cover, water pump, lifting bracket here, the oil pump and screen. There's supposed to be a gauze, according to the Haynes manual, that goes over this, but I can't find anybody that sells it. I don't know if that's normally replaced or not anymore. Anyway, that's my status. Hopefully it'll go better going forward here. Okay, this is the March 23rd update. Getting a lot of time on this due to the coronavirus. Got most of it together here. I just have this on for lifting the engine back in the car because I'm going to put the manifold in after. I'm still stuck with a broken stud in there that I've now broken 2 easy outs off inside the hole inside the stud. So I've ordered more easy outs, and not exactly sure how I'm going to get that out. I may end up having to drill it out to the next size and tap it, but I was really hoping to keep it the original size. So most of my parts are installed. I didn't take a good picture of where the ground strap goes from the engine to the frame, so I have to figure that out. And then I have flywheel stuff, pressure plate resurfaced, gaskets. So it's getting down there. The oil draft tube, I need to paint a couple pieces here I missed. Got the thermostat. I'm going to try using this fancy Permatex stuff instead of a gasket and see how bad it leaks. The rocker arm, I got this from Moss, and they drilled the hole in the wrong place here, so the end cap pushes this spring in super tight against this rocker. So I had 50 mils machined off the cap, and I have to pick that up and then I can put that on. Got the fan snout and all. I'm waiting for a balancing tool so I can balance the fan before I can put that on. Cleaned up the oil pressure line. I gotta paint that. I gotta clean up the coil, a few things, fuel pump. The fuel pump's on hold because I took it apart and there wasn't a spring inside of it. So now I have to buy a used fuel pump just to get the spring. And then my vacuum advance unit, I cleaned that all up and tested it, and of course it's bad. That's a $100 bill to get a new one of those. So, but getting there. I took the distributor apart, and the weights down in here, somebody had hooked up the spindle shaft to the weights incorrectly. So between the no vacuum advance and screwed up mechanical advance, I'm surprised it actually ran. But getting there, getting excited to put it back in the car, hopefully before too much longer.